I just spent 10 minutes scrolling on my phone to take a break. Now I feel even more tired and unfocused than before. What is wrong with me?
Perhaps the question isn't what's wrong with you, but what's wrong with your definition of a break.
What do you mean? I stopped working, I did something else. That's a break.
That's what most people think, that a break is simply the absence of work, but it's not true. Many of our breaks are just a different kind of work in disguise.
A different kind of work? I was watching funny videos. That's the opposite of work. It's supposed to be relaxing.
It feels like it should be, but your brain doesn't experience it that way. The real problem isn't that you're not taking breaks, it's that the breaks you're taking are actively draining your energy, not restoring it.
Okay, now I'm really confused. How can not working drain my energy?
Let's start with the things we usually do on a break. Checking the news, scrolling through social media, reading a few emails, they all feel like a good distraction.
Yes, exactly. They take my mind off the project I'm stuck on.
And that feels productive. We believe that any distraction from a difficult task is a form of rest. It's an easy, immediate escape.
It's definitely easy, but you're saying it fails. I feel that it fails. Why?
Because those activities are not rest. They are a flood of new information. Every news headline, every photo, every short video is a new thing your brain has to process. It has to evaluate, understand, and react to unpredictable content. This process uses a huge amount of mental energy.
So even though it's not my main job, my brain is still working hard.
It's working incredibly hard. These short, intense bursts of information are like cognitive junk food. They give you a quick feeling of engagement, but they deplete your ability to focus.
Deplete. That's the perfect word. I go back to my spreadsheet after scrolling, and my focus is just gone. It feels empty.
A real break should do the opposite. Its purpose isn't to distract you with new information. Its purpose is to reduce the amount of information your brain has to process.
So the goal is to get bored?
The goal is to get quiet. Think about looking out a window for 2 minutes. What do you see? Maybe a few cars, a tree, the sky. It's low information. It's predictable. Your brain doesn't have to work to understand it. It can finally switch off and recover. Scrolling a social feed is the exact opposite experience.
That makes a strange kind of sense, but it also feels like my focus just runs out during the day, like a car running out of fuel. I don't feel like I have much control over it.
That's another common belief, that our focus is a tank that just goes from full to empty over 8 hours.
It feels that way. By 3 p.m., I'm finished.
We believe it because it matches our feeling of being drained. But this view is passive. It suggests we are victims of the workday. What if your focus isn't a gas tank? What if it's more like a rechargeable battery?
A battery? Okay, so it can be refilled.
Exactly. It doesn't just go down. It can go down and then back up many times during the day. Your breaks are your charging stations. A good break doesn't just pause the drain, it should actively replenish your mental energy.
And if I plug my phone into a charger, I make sure the charger is connected to a power source. I don't plug my phone into my laptop to charge it while I'm using the laptop.
That is the perfect analogy. You are plugging your brain, your attention battery, into an activity that is also drawing power. You're trying to charge one device with another device that is also running low. It doesn't work.
And a real break, that would be like plugging directly into the wall, a simple, stable source of energy.
Precisely. The activity itself is the power source, an activity that asks almost nothing from your brain. Staring at the sky, listening to the sound of the air conditioning, slowly drinking a glass of water and focusing only on that. These are high-quality charging stations.
So you're saying I should just do nothing? Sit in my chair and stare at the wall? It sounds so unproductive, almost lazy.
And that's the third barrier, the belief that rest has to be complicated or active. We think we need to do something relaxing, like a guided meditation or listening to a specific podcast.
I've tried those. Sometimes they just feel like another task on my to-do list. Be mindful for 5 minutes. It adds pressure.
It does. We're so used to being busy that even our rest has to be an achievement. But true cognitive rest isn't an activity you perform. It's an absence of demand. The goal is to lower your cognitive load, not to replace one type of thinking with another.
What's the difference? Isn't a meditation still better than looking at my email?
It can be, but the principle is what matters. The purpose is to be intentional about giving your brain a moment of true quiet. It doesn't have to be a formal practice. An intentional break is simply one you choose for the specific purpose of mental recovery. You aren't just escaping work. You are actively choosing restoration.
So it could be as simple as closing my eyes for 60 seconds at my desk. And the goal isn't to clear my mind perfectly, but just to stop feeding it new information.
Exactly. The goal is to reduce input. Think about it. Listening to a complex podcast requires your brain to process language, follow ideas, and make connections. Listening to the quiet hum of your office requires nothing. One is a task, the other is true rest.
Okay, this makes sense. Reduce stimulus, use breaks to recharge the battery. Be intentional. But if it's that simple, why is everyone still glued to their phones on their breaks? I see smart, successful people doing it all the time. Are they all just getting it wrong?
It's not about being right or wrong, and it's not a failure of intelligence or discipline. The challenge is that our brains are not designed for the modern world.
What do you mean?
For thousands of years, survival depended on paying attention to novelty. A new sound in the forest could be danger, or it could be food. Our brains evolved to be rewarded for noticing what is new and unpredictable.
And a social media feed is a constant stream of new and unpredictable information.
It's the perfect machine to capture that ancient part of our brain. It delivers exactly the kind of stimulus we are hardwired to crave. So when we feel tired or bored from our work, our brain instinctively seeks out that easy, rewarding stimulus.
So our phones are basically exploiting a survival instinct.
Precisely. Choosing a bad break isn't a personal failing. It's the default path. It's what your brain wants to do automatically. That's why the solution has to be a deliberate choice. You can't wait until you feel exhausted and then hope you'll make the wise choice. You won't. Your tired brain will choose the easy stimulus every time. The decision has to be made ahead of time. You have to design your breaks.
So you're saying I should schedule a 2-minute break every hour to just look out the window?
You could. Or you could simply create a rule for yourself. When I feel my focus fading, the first thing I will do is stand up and walk to the kitchen to get water, leaving my phone at my desk. It's a simple, deliberate system.
It's not that I'm weak. It's that my environment is designed to steal my attention. And I've been letting it. A real break is my way of taking that attention back.
That is the entire shift in thinking. You are moving from being a passive victim of mental fatigue to an active manager of your own cognitive resources. You build these small moments of recovery into your day so that you can sustain your performance.
It's a very different mindset. I always thought I just had to push through until the end of the day. This suggests I can actually improve my energy as the day goes on.
You can. Think about it. We accept that athletes need recovery time. They don't just run for 8 hours straight. They run, then they rest. They know that recovery is part of performance. Knowledge workers need to think the same way.
So the mindless activities we use for breaks, they actively deplete our focus.
Yes, and we need to find simple, low-stimulus ways to replenish that focus.
Which won't happen by accident. I have to be intentional about it.
It must be an intentional choice, because the easy choice is always the phone.
And making that deliberate choice, even for just a few minutes each day, is how you sustain your energy, not just for one afternoon, but for the entire week.
You've got it. That's the entire system. It's not about finding more time for breaks. It's about using the time you already have more effectively.
So the goal of a break isn't to feel entertained. It's just to feel quieter.
Exactly. The goal is to return to your work with a mind that is clear, not just distracted.